Hare Krishna to all dear devotees. Please accept my humble obeisances. All goes to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desha Tarini Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jai Jai Shri Chaitanya Jai Nityananda Jai Advaita Chandra Jai Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. So today we are reading from Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila Chapter 5 The Activities of Sakshi Gopal from text 130. When Nityananda saw the Gopal deity and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in that way, he began to exchange remark with the devotees, all of whom were smiling. Text 139. Thus, with great pleasure, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passed that night in the temple. After seeing the Mangalarti ceremony in the morning, he started on his journey. Text 140th. In his book Chaitanya Bhagavat, Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur has very widely described the places visited by the Lord on the way to the Bhuvaneshwara. Text 141. When Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrived at Kamalapura, he took his bath in the Bhaginadhi river and left his sannyasa staff in the hands of Lord Nityananda. Text 142 and 143. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to the temple of Lord Shiva, known as Kopeshwara, Nityananda Prabhu, who was keeping his sannyasa staff in custody, broke the staff in 3 parts and threw it into the river Bhagi Later, this river became known as Danda Bhanga Nadi. Text 144. After seeing the temple of Jagannath from a distant place, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu immediately became ecstatic. After offering obeisances to the temple, he began to dance in the ecstasy of love of God. Text 145. All the devotees became ecstatic in the association of Lord Chaitanya and thus absorbed in the love of God. They were dancing and singing while going along the main road. Text 146. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu laughed, cried, danced, and made many ecstatic vibrations and sounds. Although the temple was only 6 miles away, to him the distance seemed thousands of miles. Text 147. Thus, walking and walking, the Lord eventually arrived at the place known as Astangala. Arrived there, he expressed his eternal consciousness speaking to Sri Nityananda Prabhu. Text 148. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had thus regained eternal consciousness, he asked Lord Nityananda Prabhu, please return my staff. Text 149. Nityananda Prabhu said, when you fell down in ecstasy, I caught you, but both of us together fell upon the staff. Text 150th. Thus the stuff broken under our weight. When the pieces have gone, where the pieces have gone, I cannot say. Where the pieces have gone, I cannot say. Text 151. It is certainly because of my offense that our stuff was broken. Now you can punish me on this account as you think proper. Text 152. After hearing the story about how his stuff had been broken, the Lord expressed a little sadness and, displaying a bit of anger, began to speak as follows. Text 153. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, you have all benefited me by bringing me to Nischala. However, my only position was that one staff and you have not kept it. Text 154. So all of you should go before or behind me to see Lord Jagannath. I shall not go with you. Text 155. Mukunda Datta told Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, my Lord, you should go ahead and allow all the others to follow. We shall not go with you. Text 156. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then began to walk very stiffly before all the other devotees. No one could understand that real purpose of the two lords, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. Text 157. The devotees could not understand why Nityananda Prabhu broke the staff, why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu permitted him to do so, or why after permitting him, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became angry. Text 158. The pastime of breaking of the staff is very deep. Only one whose devotion is fixed upon the lotus feet of two lords can understand it. Text 159. The glories of Lord Gopala, who is merciful to Brahmanas, are very great. The narration of Sakshi Gopal was spoken by Nityananda Prabhu and heard by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Text 160th. One who hears this narration of Lord Gopala with faith and love very soon attains the lotus feet of Lord Gopala. Text 161. Praying at the lotus feet of Sri Rupa and Sri Raghunatha always desires their mercy. I, Krishnadas, narrated Sri Chaitanya Charitamritham following in their footsteps. Thus, end the Bhakti Vedanta purport chapter 5, the activities of Sakshi Gopal. Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Madhya. Hare Krishna. So, we're here in the context is that just now we heard about the Sakshi Gopal pastime, entire detailed pastime we heard, and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was hearing this from Nityananda Prabhu. Then, after hearing the pastime, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was being glorified. How he was looking exactly like Gopal did like that. That's where we stopped yesterday. Now continuing, see that Nityananda Prabhu, when he saw the Gopal deity and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in that way, that means how they both look similar like that. Then he started to exchange remarks with the devotees, and they were all smiling, it seems. So then, with great pleasure, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu passed that night in the temple, and after attending the Mangalarti in the morning, he started again on his journey. Where is he going? He's going from Shantipur to Jagannathpuri. That is his journey. So he came very close to Jagannathpuri now. So that's where he is. Now, then text 140 describes how the pastime in Chaitanya Bhagavata, this journey from Shantipur to Jagannathpuri is described very elaborately. It seems elaborately described the different places he visited on the way to Bhubaneswar, like that is described. Since. So in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is giving us some insight that how one time in the temple of Bhubaneswara, in the temple there, in Bhubaneswara, there is a Lord Shiva temple, it seems. Prabhupada is writing some pastime related to that, connected to that Shiva temple. Apparently, there is a king named Kasi Raja who wanted to fight with Lord Krishna, it seems. So he worshipped Lord Shiva nicely. And Lord Shiva, being Ashutosh, that means easily pleased, he gave the benediction, whatever powers he wanted. But then obviously, even though he got the Pasupatastra, the great astra from Lord Shiva, it doesn't work against Krishna, because Krishna is the source of all powers, right? So Krishna, he not only defeated him, but he also killed him, it seems. So then Lord Shiva understood his mistake, and then he seeks forgiveness from Lord Krishna, it seems. Actually, Prabhupada doesn't say in this purport, but whenever similar thing comes up in Srimad Bhagavatam, Prabhupada mentions, see, if somebody takes shelter of any other demigod, they may not get full protection. But if they take shelter of Krishna, they'll get full protection, like that Prabhupada normally says. It's not here in this purport, but generally that's how Prabhupada describes. Now, text 141. So, like that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu arrived at a place called Kamalapur, it seems, and he took bath in a river called Bhargi Nadi River. And while taking bath, he left the sannyas staff. Staff means the sannyas danda that the sannyasis carry in the hands of Lord Nityananda Prabhu, it seems. So this has purport. So at this place, actually, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited in Bhubaneswar, Lord Shiva's temple, where Lord Shiva was known as Gupta Kashi. The temple itself is called Gupta Kashi, the concealed Varanasi. So Lord Shiva established this place, it seems, by bringing water from all holy places and created a lake known as Bindu Sarovara, it seems. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took bath in this lake, feeling great regard for Lord Shiva, it seems. From the spiritual, he took bath in this lake from the spiritual point of view, it seems. People generally take bath for spiritual point of view also. But even from material point of view, Prabhupada writes that one becomes very healthy. All diseases of stomach will go away and indigestion problems will go away, it seems, by regularly bathing there, like that. Now, text 142, 143, next verse. When Lord Chaitanya Prabhu went to Lord Shiva temple, where Lord Shiva known as Kaputeshwara, it seems, that's the name of Lord Shiva there. Nityananda Prabhu, this is an interesting past in that starting. Nityananda Prabhu, he was holding the sannyas staff of Lord Chaitanya. Remember a couple of verses ago, last verse itself is tell Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave the sannyas danda to Lord Nityananda. And then Lord Nityananda broke the danda into 3 parts, it seems, and threw it into the river Bhargi Nadi. So that river became known as Danda Banga Nadi. Danda Banga means where the danda was broken, like that. This is a very famous pastime of Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu. Many devotees describe this pastime. So now, in this purport, Prabhupada gives some insights. And again, later towards the end of the chapter, he gives more insights. Why Lord Chaitanya and Nityananda Prabhu broke the danda like that. So essentially he describes that, he's quoting Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur actually. Remember Chaitanya Charitamrita, when he wrote, Prabhupada wrote, he was referring to Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur commentary also. Then, so when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu accepted sannyas order, then Nityananda Prabhu, actually knowing that Lord Chaitanya is not there, he broke it into 3 parts, is described here. And then Prabhupada describes there are 4 divisions of sannyasis, that means 4 levels of sannyas ashram, like that he describes. What are those? One of them is called Kuti Chaka. Kuti Chaka. This one I remember recently reading somewhere. I forgot. Bhagavatam, I think. I forgot where I read. But recently, basically, that is the first level of sannyas ashram, where the person takes up sannyas ashram. He stays right near the outskirts of the village itself. And the home is also constructed by his family members and relatives. So he stays in that home. And somebody from the relatives only will bring food every day to him, and then they will eat like that. Next level is little bit more austerity. Like I don't remember exact levels, but essentially the way they go eat food, the way they stay changes basically. And the next level is called Hamsa, it seems. Bahudaka, Kuchichaka first level, Bahudaka, Hamsa, and Parahamsa level. So next level goes even more further austere, and finally Parahamsa level is like Madhavendra Puri we heard last chapter, wherein if nobody brings food, he doesn't even eat, he doesn't even go and ask also. But little bit lower than that ashram is that, lower than that level of sannyasi is that they go and beg at 10 places of the 10 places, like Lord Krishna is describing Uddhav Gita in 11th canto in the morning sessions, like that. So like that is described. Only when the sannyasi remains on the Kuti Chaka and Bahudaka platforms, he can carry a staff, that is danda. Otherwise, he cannot carry his sannyas danda, it seems, if he is above that level, 2 levels, Kuti Chaka and Bahudaka, it seems. That means it's like an injunction that they need to give us sannyas stuff, not like it's optional like that. Like that, that's how Prabhupada is describing the purport. Now, Lord Nityananda Prabhu considered Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Supreme Lord himself. So what is this? He's already in Paramahansa stage or beyond even. So why does he need to carry this danda? Like that he thinks. And then he decides that Lord Chaitanya doesn't need to carry danda. That's why he breaks it into 3 pieces and threw it into the water of the river. So apparently there's a deep pastime, it seems more meanings, but I'm only understanding what is given in the purports here. Now 144 verse. When Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saw the Jagannath temple from far distance, it seems, he paid obeisances first, even though far away, and he became very ecstatic, it seems. And he began to dance in the Krishna Prema. That time, the present temple of Jagannath Puri was constructed by King Ananga Bhima, it seems. It was almost constructed like 2000 years ago, it seems. When Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, that time the main temple was there, it seems, but the small buildings surrounding the original temple are not there at that time. Even the high platform in front of the temple is also not there during the time of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prabhupada is writing in the purport. So now, 145 is describing that all the devotees also became ecstatic in the association of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, seeing him in ecstasy and seeing him dancing in ecstasy like that, right? So they were also dancing and singing. Sorry. Now, 146 verse. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with ecstatic symptoms, he laughed, cried, danced, and made many ecstatic vibrations and sound systems. And then, although actually he saw the temple far away from 6 miles away, so only 6 miles away, but for him the distance seemed like thousands of miles because of his separation from Lord Jagannath and in mood of ecstasy like that. So, yeah. And the purport also says not only distance 6 miles felt like 1,000 miles distance, but in terms of time also, every moment felt like 12 years like that. We hear in Sikshastakam prayer also, yuga yutam nivishena like that. Now text 147, like that while walking, finally the Lord reached a place called Ataranala, it seems. And in the purport is described, this is like at the entrance of Jagannath Puri, there's a bridge, it seems, with 18 arches, it seems. Many people who go even now today, they'll look at that bridge because this famous pastime happened at least. So the 18 arches are there. He reached that place, it seems, and then he started speaking to Nityananda Prabhu. What did he say? Yeah. So text 148. He said, he asked him to return his sannyas danda, my staff. Please return my staff, like that he asked. Then 149. Oh, here there's in the book there is another sentence also. Nityananda Prabhu replied that it has been broken into 3 parts. Like the Nityananda Prabhu replied, it seems. So here elaboration is being given. Nityananda Prabhu actually said, when you fell down in ecstasy, I caught you. But both of us together fell upon that sannyas danda staff. That's why the sannyas danda broke under our weight. Both of our weight fell on that danda. That's why it broken into pieces. But I don't know where the pieces have gone. I cannot say, he's saying. But Nityananda Prabhu actually put it in the river only. So he says, but I will take punishment because certainly because of my offense that the staff is broken. So you can punish me as you think is proper, like whatever punishment you want to give like that. So let me see if there's any purport here. I don't think so. Yeah, 152 has purport. So then, after hearing the story about the staff, how the staff had been broken, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu expressed a little sadness, it seems, and displayed a bit of anger and began to speak as follows. The purport explains why is he sad? Why is he showing anger to Nityananda Prabhu like that? Why? From Nityananda Prabhu's perspective, he thought it's useless for Supreme Lord Chaitanya carrying sannyas danda. So that's why he wanted to relieve the Lord from carrying the danda like that. That's why he broke it. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to teach all of the other sannyasis how they need to accept sannyas rules. So how they need to carry the danda before they reach paramsa stage, like that he wants to teach by example, like an acharya. So, but then, uh, but Nityananda Prabhu broke it. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu displayed little anger, it seems, because whatever great people do, ordinary people follow. We know from Bhagavad Gita, third chapter, 21st verse is quoted here. Yadyad acharti shreshtas tattar evetaro janaha. Krishna describes to Arjuna that whatever great persons do, ordinary people follow like that. The context that comes there is Bhagavad Gita is that Krishna is describing that if you are qualified by purification through prescribed duties, then you can take up sannyas, renounce your order. Otherwise, you need to do your prescribed duties like that, he says. And then on the other hand, let us say you're already qualified, Arjuna. Even then, you should do prescribed duties. Why? So that you can set an example for others. Because great Paukan will follow great people like that. So that's in that context he describes this. That's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also always trying to uphold the highest sannyas vows like that during his lifetime here. That's why he's angry with Nityananda Prabhu, it seems. Or he exhibited anger towards Nityananda Prabhu. Now 153, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, you all benefit me by bringing me to Rijalachala. That means you help me to come to Jagannath Puri like that. However, I have only one possession, that is my sannyas danda, and you not kept it. So all of you should go before me or behind me. That means I don't want to come with you, he's saying. I shall not go with you. He wants them to go separately, either before him or after him, like that, separately. So then Mukundatta, one of the associates who came with Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he proposed that maybe Lord Chaitanya should go first, and we'll all follow like later on like that. And he assured them that we will not go with you like that. Then 156 verse, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu then began to walk very fast and swiftly before all the other devotees. That means he's separately now walking. And no one could understand the real purpose of the two lords, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Nityananda Prabhu. Meaning, why did this particular pastime like that? So, yeah, 157 is elaborating that. The devotees could not understand why Nityananda Prabhu broke the staff, that means Sannyas Danda. Why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu permitted him to do so? That means why did he sanction that Nityananda Prabhu could do it? Or why, even after permitting him, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became angry? They could not understand that easily. So this pastime is very deep. Only one whose devotion is fixed upon the lotus feet of the two lords can understand it. So there's a purport for this verse where Prabhupada is saying that when you understand Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu, in reality, we can understand the identity as well as breaking of the staff also he describes. All the previous acharyas, they were free from material desires. So they were accepting sannyas to show that they're ready to surrender to Krishna with body, mind, and speech like that. So in the Paramahamsa stage, he doesn't need to accept the danda. That's why Nityananda Prabhu did not want Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to hold it. So that is why he was breaking the danda is described here again one more time. Yeah. And in doing so, Nityananda Prabhu want to declare to the world, it seems, that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is above all the rules and regulations like that. And this Lila is called Danda Bhanga Lila, it seems. And text 159. So now glories of Lord Gopala, Sakshi Gopala, whose merciful to Brahmana are very great. The narration of Sakshi Gopala was spoken by Nityananda Prabhu and heard by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So there are 4 instructions from the Sakshi Gopal pastimes that are described in the purport. First is that we should consider that the deity Archa Vigraha of Sri Gopala is eternally Sachidananda Vigraha. That means it's a transcendental form of the Lord. It's not just material, made of some material elements, that's all. It's a transcendental form of the Lord, number 1. Number 2, the deity surpasses all material regulative principles and extends the reality of transcendental principles. That means see how he could walk like that. That's transcendental. That's not ordinary. Then third one is we can be situated in a transcendental position after becoming Brahmana. But as Brahmana, we have to follow the regulative principles very strictly. In the context of this pastime, speaking truth and keeping the word like that. And the fourth instruction is now Brahmani Deva indicates Lord Sri Krishna himself, who we worship, right? Now Brahmani Devaya, Guru Brahmanitaya, Jagatitaya Krishnaya, Govindaya Namo Namaha. So that indicates the devotee is under protection of Krishna, is automatically situated as Brahmana. So if he achieves protection of Krishna by devotion service, he will automatically be situated at Brahmana level. And such a Brahmana is not illusion. This is factual. That means he will never be subject to illusion of the modes of nature, like that is describing. So last two verses for today. This is the Falasruti. One whoever hears this pastime of Sakshi Gopal with faith and love, very soon attains the lotus feet of Lord Gopala. Nice. And then finally, like any other chapter, he concludes by praying to lotus feet of Sri Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Goswami, and by seeking their mercy, he says, I'm writing this Chaitanya following in their footsteps. That's the mood of Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, author of this book. Yeah. So that's the beautiful pastime. So we heard two wonderful chapters, one for Madhavendra Puri, and then this one is about Sakshi Gopal. Now next chapter is little bit philosophical, but some storyline also is there, where how Lord Chaitanya liberates Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Is one of the big chapters. So big, like I'm trying to see pages. It's like 630. Wow, 170 pages like that. 175 pages looks like. It's a nice chapter because remember Prabhupada wrote the teachings of Lord Chaitanya book before he completed Chaitanya Charitamrita. In that time, he wrote instructions that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya also. That's one of the 5 important sections, apart from Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, so Ramananda Rai, and also, who is the 5th personality? Prakashananda Saraswati. Yeah. So that's why it's important section, next chapter also. So we'll get to read it. Yeah, we'll pause here. Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Let's offer our obeisance to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kupasindubhyevacha Vaitana pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Thank you, devotees. Hare Krishna.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.